Hello everyone, welcome back to another interesting video of Ileum Biology. This is class number 37 and today I am continuing with the topic of mutation. I have already uploaded a part on mutation, the first lecture, which you can see in our detail section. Today in this section, in this lecture of mutation, I am going to discuss about point mutation. We already discussed about this chart in the last video wherein I told you about two different kinds of mutations, that is gene mutation and chromosomal mutation. A gene mutation or a point mutation involves a DNA change at a single point. That means only a single gene is affected, but in case of a chromosomal mutation, multiple genes are affected or the structure or the number of chromosomes are also involved. Now point mutations are of two types, substitution mutation and frame shift mutation, and both of them would be discussed in this video today. Now before discussing about the point mutation, first of all let's understand how DNA machinery works in our body. It works by a mechanism called as central dogma. I'll go through the central dogma very briefly. See, this is the DNA which is passed from generation to generation. A DNA has got a sequence of nitrogenous bases called as codons. Now the sequence of nitrogenous bases that is present in the DNA is responsible for the transcription of mRNA, and the sequence of nitrogenous bases in the mRNA is totally dependent on the sequence of nitrogenous bases in the DNA. They are exactly complementary to each other. Now if there is a change in the DNA, there would surely be the change in the coding sequence of the mRNA, and the coding sequence of mRNA, that is the nitrogenous bases present in mRNA, are responsible for the exact type of amino acid that would form the structure of a polypeptide or the protein. That means the amino acids present in the polypeptide are totally decided by the mRNA, and the sequence of mRNA is totally decided by the DNA. That means any change in DNA would be transcribed in mRNA, and this change would also be seen in the polypeptide structure in the form of amino acid. So this is central dogma, and that's how DNA expresses itself. Let's start with the point mutation or the gene mutation. As I told you, a point mutation, as the name suggests, is a type of mutation in which there is a change in the DNA sequence at a particular point and only a single gene is involved. It is of two types, substitution and frame shift. Let's start with the substitution first. Substitution, as the name suggests, simply means replacement of something by the other. So in this case, a nitrogenous base is replaced by another nitrogenous base. You can clearly see in this example, this is the normal case. The DNA sequence reads out as GCTATA, but this A is now has been substituted with T, that is adenine has been substituted with thymine. This is substitution. Now this change in the nitrogenous base in the DNA would lead to a change in the mRNA that is transcribed, which would lead to a change in the protein, in the amino acid sequence of that protein. That's because a new kind of amino acid would be coded by this codon. Now because of substitution, there is a change in the codon which might code for a different amino acid. Let's look at the very classical example of a substitution mutation. In this case, we are first talking about the normal case. DNA has got the sequence of nitrogenous bases as GAG and CTC on the complementary strand. The RNA that is produced by this sequence of DNA reads out as GAG, and this GAG we all know codes for an amino acid called as glutamine. So the protein would contain an amino acid called as glutamine. What we are doing, we are substituting this A with this T, that is thymine. So in place of adenine, thymine has been substituted. Now the mRNA that is transcribed is GUG. Earlier it was transcribed as GAG, which coded for glutamine, but GUG will now code for valine. That means That means now the protein would have a different kind of amino acid, and this protein is called as a mutant protein. Now this protein might not work normally as it was doing in the normal case, and this is the classical example of sickle cell anemia. This is what actually happens in sickle cell anemia. There is substitution of thymine in place of adenine, which leads to valine in place of glutamine at the 6th position of its polypeptide chain, leading to sickle cell anemia. Now in this case, the hemoglobin that is formed is defective. The hemoglobin is defective, and the oxygen tension in the RBCs, that is red blood cells, is reduced, and because of the reduced oxygen tension there is change of the shape of the RBCs, which is very evident in this picture. See, this is a healthy RBC. Compare it with a sickle cell anemic RBC. It is sickle shaped RBC. That's why this disease is called as a sickle cell anemia. I have described sickle cell anemia in very detail in one of the another videos. You can go and watch it out there. In this video I am discussing only about mutations, and the classical example of the substitution mutation is sickle cell anemia. Now substitution is of two types, transition and transversion. We all know nitrogenous bases present in DNA are of 5 types. There are total 5 types of nitrogenous bases present in DNA and RNA, and these are of again 2 types, purines and pyrimidines. Adenine and guanine are purines, and cytosine, thymine and uracil are pyrimidines. Now what is transition type of substitution? In a transition type of substitution, a purine is substituted by another purine, or a pyrimidine is substituted by another pyrimidine. On the contrary, in a transversion case, a purine is substituted by pyrimidine, or a pyrimidine is substituted by purine. So this is the difference between transition and transversion. Now there is a question that arises in our mind. Whenever there is a substitution, would it surely change the amino acid that is coded? Whenever there is substitution, there would always be a change in the amino acid present in that protein. Is it true or not? See, this is not true. This is not true. I'll give you an example. Look at this. This is the normal case, and this is the case of mutation. Now what is the difference? The difference is clear on the 6th nitrogenous base. In this case it is C, and in this case it is T. There is no other difference. Now this GCC was first coding for alanine, and this GCT, which is the mutant form, is also coding for alanine, because we all know that some amino acids are coded by multiple codons. So whenever there is a change in the codon, but that codon also is leading to the formation of that same amino acid, then there won't be any change in the amino acid in the polypeptide structure. So listen to this carefully and remember this, that all substitution will not always bring a change in the amino acid. So what kind of change is occurring in the polypeptide chain? On that basis, point mutations are of 3 types. I'll first take 3 different examples to show you the differences, and then I'll tell you about the type of mutation they are called as. See, I'm taking a simple example of a DNA which reads out as TTC. The mRNA that is coded by this TTC reads out as AAG. We all know the mRNA is exactly the complementary sequence of the DNA, and the amino acid that is coded by AAG is always lysine. I hope you are very familiar with the transcription, translation and genetic codons, and if you are familiar with those concepts, then this would be very easy for you. See, DNA TTC is transcribing mRNA AAG, which codes for an amino acid lysine. Now let's discuss about the first kind of point mutation. In this case, I have changed the 3rd nitrogenous base, that is C has been substituted with T, that is thymine. Now the mRNA that is transcribed would be read out as AAA, and this AAA also codes for lysine. We all know some amino acids are coded by multiple different codons. So in this case also lysine has been coded. That means there was a change in DNA, there was a change in mRNA, but there is no change in the protein structure, no change in the amino acid sequence, because the same amino acid has been translated. So is there a change in the protein? No, there is no change in the protein. That means such mutations are silent. Such mutations will not change any phenotype. That's why these mutations are called as same sense mutation or silent mutations. Why silent mutation? Because they are not bringing any change. And why same sense mutation? Because the polypeptide sequence is still got the same sense that it had the earlier. Getting my point? So such mutations are called as same sense or silent mutation. Let's look at the other one. In this case, I have changed the first nitrogenous base and A has substituted T. Now this DNA sequence will code for an mRNA which would be read out as UAG, and UAG we all know is a stop codon. That means what this mutation has done, this mutation has stopped the process of translation. Let's take an example. Let's see, this is the mRNA. Earlier it was the mRNA that was transcribed, and it was leading to the formation of this protein with these amino acids. Now what has happened, there was a mutation at this point, and at this point the mutation led to the formation of a stop codon here. That means translation would be stopped at this process, and this protein now will contain only these amino acids. These amino acids will not be present in this protein. That means translation has been stopped, and such mutations are called as nonsense mutation, because the sense which was produced earlier will not be produced now, because the translation process would certainly stop there. So such mutations are called as nonsense mutations. Now in third case, let's change the middle nitrogenous base. Cytosine has replaced thymine. The mRNA that would be coded will obviously be AGG, and this AGG now codes for arginine. That means the amino acid that was being coded as lysine will now be coded as arginine. That means there would certainly be a change in the structure of the protein. There is a change in the structure of the protein. That's why these kinds of mutations are called as missense mutation, because the sense has now been misunderstood. That's why missense mutation. I'll go through the terms once again. Same sense means there is no change in the sense because same amino acid has been coded, or the silent mutation. Nonsense because the sense has stopped, the translation has stopped. Missense, there is a change of the sense. That means there is a change in the amino acids. That's why point mutations are of three types: same sense, nonsense, and missense mutations. Now let's compare these three. Now all these three types of mutation will surely there will be a change in the DNA. I'll start with the missense mutation. There would be a change in DNA. A change in DNA would lead to a change in RNA, and because it is a missense mutation, then there would certainly be a change in the protein structure. In the same sense type of mutation, obviously DNA would change, RNA would also change, but there would be no change in the protein structure because the same amino acid is being coded. And in nonsense mutation, surely DNA and RNA would change and translation would stop there. It won't progress further. So these are three kinds of point mutations. Now let's discuss about the frame shift mutation. Now why is this called as frame shift mutation? I'll come to this term also. First of all, let's see what is a frame shift mutation. In a frame shift mutation, there is either an addition or a loss of a nitrogenous base in the DNA. Let's take an example. Now in this case, this is the normal case in which this is the mRNA sequence, and because of the mutation, what has happened here in this case, look at this carefully. 3 uracil are present in the RNA. 3 uracil are present in the RNA, and what is mutation doing? It is deleting one of the uracil. This uracil has been deleted from this sequence. Now what would happen because of this deletion? Listen to this carefully. See, earlier AUG was coding for methionine, AAG for lysine, UUU for phenylalanine, GGC for glycine. Now because of the mutation, this U has been deleted. So how would it be read as? AUG, there is no change, it would be coded as methionine. AAG would be coded as lysine. But now listen to this carefully, this U has been deleted. So in the translation process, this would be read out as UUG in place of UUU, and this would code for leucine. Now listen to this carefully. Earlier this G was a part of this codon. Now this G is part of this codon. That means this A was earlier a part of this codon, is now would be a part of this codon. Now deletion of a single nitrogenous base has entirely shifted the frame, has entirely brought a change in the entire DNA sequence, which would be there in the ahead direction in the translation process. Either a deletion of a nitrogenous base or an addition of a nitrogenous base will also bring the same change. Let's take an example. If I insert cytosine here, then the second codon would be CAA and not AAG, and the third codon would be GUU. The entire sequence after the point where there is a deletion or an addition would be changed. That means the entire protein would be changed after that mutation. That's why this is called as a frame shift mutation. This is of two types, either an addition of a nitrogenous base or a deletion of a nitrogenous base. That would bring a change in the codon, which would then code for a different amino acid, and the entire sequence now would be read in a different manner, and this different manner reading of this mRNA sequence, which would surely lead to a change in the entire protein structure. Getting my point? That's why this is called as frame shift mutation. And the classical example of a disease occurring because of frame shift mutation is thalassemia. Now in this video I discussed about two blood anomalies, that is sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. Both of them are related to hemoglobin, and sickle cell anemia is a classical example of a point mutation, and thalassemia is a classical example of a frame shift mutation. Sickle cell anemia, see, both of them are point mutations, don't get confused. Both of them are point mutations. Sickle cell anemia is a substitution mutation and thalassemia is a frame shift mutation. So this is the difference between the cause of sickle cell anemia and thalassemia. Now I would ask you a question before ending this video. You have to tell me which one is more harmful type of mutation, a substitution mutation or a frame shift mutation. I would request all of you to please comment down your answer in the comment section, and do tell us what do you think about which type of mutation is more harmful, a substitution or a frame shift mutation. Thanks a lot for connecting with us, staying with us. Stay with us for more such informative videos. I'll discuss the mutations in a very detailed manner. So stay with us for more such interesting videos. Thank you.